Chelsea put Ajax in a spliff, mate. Not even just the senior squad, that technically is the youth squad, but also the youth squad put Ajax in a spliff. What are we saying? They put them in a spliff. But anyway, listen, like for real, Jamie Gittens, I told you it's gonna be Jamie Littens. You believe me now? All the Jamie Gittin haters, where you at? I know it's about consistency, don't get that twisted. But where you at? And I told you it's only a matter of time. In the next game, if Mark Hughes starts his scoring, I said that. And that's because of his positional play. Like his awareness, incredible. Do you know what I mean? And he's only 19 years old and he can only get better. Like he can only get better. I know we say that about a lot of players, but that's the truth. But anyway, let's get into this. Get me, by the way, man's versus AK that could be on trusted name. You can trust when it comes to offense reactions. Get me, if you're a Chelsea fan, get me. We're gonna react to the Chelsea versus Ajax highlights Champions League. Get me, you can see that we smashed them up at Ajax. Get me, we like listen, we put 5 past Ajax, all right? And you can see the goal scorers of hold on. So then we can see that the Mark Gu is the first goal scorer, then Caicedo, then Fernandez, then Esteval, and then there's Tyreek George that also scored. They had the goal scorer as well, Ajax, which was Wickhurst, and then obviously they got someone sent off. Taylor. Now some may argue and be like, Chelsea are getting red cards in every game. So far, there's a red card in every Chelsea game. It's either in going towards a Chelsea player or going to this is the first game where there was a game against Manchester United where there was a red card as well. But aside from that, there's been a red card in practically every game that we can think of. It's insane. But it's fine. It's fine. And this time, wasn't a Chelsea player. At least this time. But yeah, listen. To be honest with you, I'm gonna say something real quick. My predicted scoreline. Let me show you my predicted scorelines. Let me know what your predicted scoreline was. I got mine on the app. I like to predict my scoreline. So basically, let me see. We go to play predictor. I won't play that predictor yet. We'll do that later. So my score was the total of 31. I'll tell you what later. So mine was, I predicted 3-0. The score was obviously 5-1. But why was it 5-1? Let's get straight into this. No delay. Let's go. All right. So match report, Chelsea 5, Ajax 1. It was another memorable night. And I wonder who's writing these as well. Let me know in the comments below if you know who's writing this. Like, is it Pat Nevin? Shout out to Pat Nevin, because I remember back in the days he would write up the match report. It was another memorable night under the lights at Stamford Bridge as Chelsea romped to a 5-1 win over 10-man Ajax in the Champions League. The Blues were looking dangerous even before Kenneth Taylor saw red for a late challenge on the 80 minutes, and when Mark Gu scored a minute later, the results never looked in doubt. That's a fact. We were looking good prior to that. And listen, I was live streaming doing another content, and you know what I mean? But I'll explain later. Moises Caicedo added a deflected. In fact, it was on this channel I was live streaming on, actually. I was thinking it was my other channel, but it was actually this channel. Caicedo added a deflected second, and whilst Wickhurst pulled a goal back 5 minutes later from the penalty spot, two penalties of our on and on the off. That's a mouthful. Pause. Two penalties of our on the verge of halftime from Enzo Fernandez and Esteval William meant we led at 4-1 at the break. And you see Esteval William's penalty. When he took that, I was reacting to a particular song, and that the person got like whipped like on their chest or something. It was a K-pop song. I forgot the name of the song, but like basically they whipped the person and I felt that pain in it. You know what I'm saying? No, it wasn't a K-pop song. Was it? I can't remember what it was, but I said I was going to mention it in the stream, and now we're here. Now we're here. Like, I felt it. That I kid you not. It was like, because I was watching the game at the same time, innit? I was like, yo, it was the timing was it was the same timing. The way he just struck it, with so much power. The goal I'm talking about, Steval Williams' goal, and then the way that person in the video that I was reacting to, where he struck with power, yeah, I felt that. Trust me, dog. Anyway, substitute Tyreek George made it 5. So where's the haters on Tyreek George now? Where you at? I told you he just needs to get his head back in the game. He's fine. He's fine. Substitute Tyreek George made it 5 just after the interval, and the Blues continued to attack Ajax throughout the second period, but had to settle for 5-1. 10 changes. Maresca made 10 changes to his starting 11, as Romeo Lavia was the only player to retain his place from Saturday's 3-0 win over Nottingham Forest. Can we just give a round of applause for that? Because it's usually like Romeo Lavia's only fit for Liverpool. You know what I mean? That's where it more or less feels like these days. He's only fit to play against Liverpool, and we always beat Liverpool when he plays. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but the last 2 times we played Liverpool and Romeo Lavia was playing, we had LFC, Lavia, Fernandez, and Caicedo. You know what I mean? Against LFC, and we beat them. You know what I mean? I think, yeah. No, yeah, we did. Obviously, with this season and the previous season, you know what I mean? Where people were thinking we were not going to beat Liverpool. Well, we did. All right, now we move. Anyway, Philip Jorgensen started in goal as Moses Caicedo played as an inverted right back with Ecuadorian Johnny Lavia in the deeper midfield roles. It's interesting that Jorgensen started. So those who were saying, "Oh, this isn't the Conference League, it's the Champions League now. It's the Champions League now." Now what? Mark Hughes scored. Jorgensen was playing as well. What we saying? What we saying? You lot need to relax. But haters are gonna hate, innit? You know what I mean? Let them hate. Then they're probably like, "Oh yeah, you lot got lucky because they were down to 10 men." Do you know it's not easy to play with 10 men? Because those who when they go down to 10 men, there's an extra pressure, because now it makes you feel like, oh, now you got that extra man, you got to make that count. It's not always easy. Just letting you know, it's not always easy. There's many teams that have lost. Yeah, even if they scored the first goal, there's many teams that have lost a game when they got more a man advantage. That's football for you sometimes. But it was fortunate for us that we were able to run riot on them. You know what I mean? I mean, we're playing at home anyway. You know what I mean? Anyway, Yao Hato lined up against his former club at left back, and alongside him was Wesley Fofana, making his 4th start of the season. Aye, Fofana and Lavia on the pitch together. Yeah. Let's hope that they are fortunate this season to be able to remain fit and healthy, first and foremost. Do you know what I mean? Health is wealth. And then obviously continue to get better and better and better, because when they're available, they're great. That's all I can really say. There's only 2 times where I was like, Fofana, he shouldn't be playing, but is what it is. Because it was his mistake that led towards Trevor Chalobah making a mistake that led towards Robert Sanchez making that mistake against Manchester United, and he got sent off. Like, positional awareness, you know what I mean? Anyway, I won't get into it. Let's just focus on today's game. So Steval Williams was playing off the right flank with Buonanotte centrally, Enzo pushing up the other advanced number 10, and Jamie Gittens. Yes, I said Jamie Gittens on the left flank. Excuse me. Mark Gu made his first start for Chelsea since January to lead the line, following his impressive since January. Hold on. February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Do you know what if a woman was pregnant in January, right? At that time, in January, do you know she would have possibly been giving birth on that day? That's mad. Now, wait. But, look, he made his first start for Chelsea since January and led the line, and he scored. Well, how about that? How about that? Following his impressive substitute outings against Liverpool, and in particular Nottingham Forest, it was his second start of the season after playing for Sunderland and scoring in the EFL Cup against Huddersfield. Ajax enjoyed the first attack of the note. All right. You see, they're gonna have to be working on it. They need to hire Pat Nevin again. Because what is this? Ajax enjoyed the first attack of the note. Do you mean night? But Romeo Lavia and then his Chelsea teammates recovered in time to end the danger and get the blocking close to goal. Chelsea were dominating possession early on through a superb through ball from the deep by the Enzo Fernandez, picked on out the run of Gu, and the goalkeeper Remco Pasveer had to rush out to save the striker's shot at his feet went 1-on-1. The dynamics of the game then completely changed. The space of 2 minutes. First Taylor's diving challenge saw the midfielder catch the ankle of Onochie, and after VAR check, referee FedEx Zwaya sent off the Dutchman. When I saw that attack, that challenge, immediately I knew it was a red. Immediately. Irrespective of it, yes, of the Chelsea player that was on the receiving end, unfortunately, of being tackled or challenged that way, but you know what I mean? That was a straight red. It's a straight red. You can't even argue with it. No one can argue with that. Nobody. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, Blues ahead. And a minute later, Bowenate's mishit cross found Fofana at the far post, and his header back across goal picked out the unmarked Gu, leaving the striker was a simple finish at 1-0. The Blues were looking at a threat at some neat wing play from Gittens. I'm going to call him Gittens. I'm not going to call him Gittens, all right? I saw the England under-21 international. I'm going to call him Beijing. England under-21 international reached the byline and forced Ajax into a save from a tight angle before Caicedo sliced his effort from the resulting corner wide. The midfielder's next effort from the outside the box did end up on target and the back of the net as his powerful strike was deflected by Ajax defender, wrong-footed pass Pasveer for 2-0. Chelsea might have been completely dominant and the man to the good, but Ajax put a goal back soon after when Tosin stood on the foot and a penalty was awarded. Workhorse stepped up and although Jorgensen got a hand to spot kick, he was beaten by the power. Now here, the funny thing is, remember against Fulham, yeah, when Joshua King tried to pull a Cruyff, funny that, a Cruyff turn, and Cruyff used to play for Ajax. Anyway, look, what happened? Joshua King stepped on Trevor Chalobah's foot in the process. That was a foul. Now, am I going to argue and complain that when Tosin, or should I say Uncle Tosin, stepped on their opposition's foot in the process, you know what I mean? Was it a foul? Was it not a foul? No, it was a foul. Unfortunately, it was a foul. It happened. We're not going to moan or complain about it. So we received, unfortunately, received a penalty. We conceded from the penalty. It happened. You're not going to see a lot of Chelsea fans moan and groan online and be like, you wait for done us dirty. No, the referees did us dirty. Go on for a whole week. We ain't going to do that. We ain't Fulham. Be like, you know what? All right, cool. We'll hold that little L. We'll hold it. We'll hold it. But don't worry. We're Chelsea Football Club and we're playing at Stamford Bridge. What we saying? We know the players we got. We know the confidence we have. You know what I mean? Irrespective of everyone saying, we're a young side. Oh, we know the players we have. We know not even just the potential. We know what we can achieve. We're world champions. So what do world champions do? All right, then. Let's keep it moving. Chelsea might have been completely dominant and a man to the good, but okay, we read that. So anyway, Workhorse stepped up and Adol Jorgensen got a hand to the spot kick. He was beaten by the power. Littens and Staval was causing Ajax fullbacks problems, and another exciting run from the prior ended it with a dangerous in-swinging cross from the left, which Enzo was unable to direct goalwards. The Blues kept coming, and it was 4-1 in the first half injury time. I stood on the heel of Staval, and the Brazilian brushed himself down and curled his penalty into the top corner, leaving the goalkeeper no chance. I'm telling you, when he scored that, I felt that. Maresca made 3 changes at the break. Chalobah replaced Uncle Tosin. Santos came on for Enzo, and George replaced Gu. And George made an immediate impact. And 3 minutes after coming on, Ajax managed to block off the run of Staval, following a good play by Caicedo and Lavia, but the ball only rolled to George, who struck a 20-yard shot, which was deflected beyond Pasvier for 5-1. And you see this is what I liked, what Tyreek George did. When he scored, he was cheering up the crowd, like, make some noise. He's a Cobham graduate. I'm gonna repeat that. He's a Cobham graduate. We got to treat them with respect. I don't care. Listen, he may not be your favorite player, but you got to treat them with respect. Think about it. Let's think about it for a moment. He was disrespected by some of the Chelsea fans. Yeah? Disrespected. Just because, he didn't, the deal with Fulham fell through last minute. Yeah? It fell through. That transfer fell through. And then when it was his time to come on and help us, unfortunately, it didn't go to plan. But you got to remember something. Tyreek George is not a striker. That's not his favored position. Of course, it's going to take time for him to adjust to play in that position. He's a young player. He will learn. He will grow and develop. And you never know. He could end up being. I'll give you an example. And I know, in fact, I don't even want to use this example because I don't want to do that. But there's some players that started off as a winger and then they end up becoming a striker. Do you understand? Because they learned that at the end of the day, they have to adapt when needed. So, yeah, with Tyreek George, he's in that situation. And he's young. Like if he was 27, yeah, or 31 or 32 or whatever, then I'd be like, all right, cool, whatever. Makes sense, whatever, cool. You know what I mean? I ain't like, it's not like he's a Sterling. No disrespect. Sterling was good in his heyday, but where did this disrespect come from? Because I don't see none of you disrespect Mudryk. Do you understand? This was so mad. I don't know if it's a color thing. It's a color thing. Get me? I say it like this on this channel, like this, like that. But look, honestly, like for real, Mudryk has been worse than Tyreek George. Even anyway, I won't even get into it. Get me? If you just stop disrespecting our players, all right? Just stop it. If you're a genuine Chelsea supporter, you will support our players and encourage them to do better. That's what I'm saying. I will be there when Jamie Gittens turns into Jamie Littens. I will be there. Look at that. Man of the match. We haven't even ended this thing yet, but man of the match. Anyway, there was no more academy products introduced from the bench, as Reggie Rose was only turned 17 2 days ago. Nice. Happy birthday, Reggie Walsh. You must be happy, bruv. Came on for Lavia on the hour. It was a wave after wave of attack from the Blues as they went close on several occasions. Staval almost got the end of several dangerous crosses from the likes of Littens. It was from the latter dribble from the deep when Staval struck a powerful shot from outside the box, which Pasvier had to palm away. Chance of one Matthew Harding rung around the stand, which bears the name of tonight's marks the 29th anniversary of the Blues legend passing. Give me rest in peace, Matthew Harding. And it's only fitting that we won 5-1 at home. Yeah, I mean, it's only right. Cheval, so with Cheval now playing centrally and Jordan moving on the right wing, see where he's favored. He's favored on the right wing, by the way, as um, Tyreek George. It felt like one man mission as the Brazilian kept going close. His acrobatic overhead kick had the most of the stage on the feet and it went into accuracy wide. And I saw people actually clapping for his effort. I respect that. Okay, so what does this all mean? Yeah. Chelsea are up to 11th in Champions League table, level on 6 points with Newcastle United in 8. Um, the top 8 teams after the 6 matches progress into the knockout round directly, while 9th to the 24th enter the playoffs. What's next? The Blues will be back at Stamford Bridge again on a Saturday afternoon when we take on Sunderland in a rare 3 p.m. kickoff. Rare, because it really has been rare. We've been playing at 12:30 or we're playing on a Sunday. Like, oh, now we're back at, you know what I mean? Yeah, or if we do play on a Saturdays at 5:30, now we're back at 3 p.m. after how many weeks? Anyway, um, the Carabao Cup tie with Wolves on and London Derby with Tottenham Hotspur will then follow before our next Champions League clash in 2 weeks' time when we travel to Carabao on Wednesday, the 5th of November. So just to run through the teams, for Chelsea, Jorgensen, Caicedo, Archibong, Fofana, Tosin, Chalobah, Hato, Lavia, Walls, Enzov, um, Andre Santos, Staval, Bawanate, Littens, Gu, and George. No substitutes. The substitutes that wasn't used was Sanchez, Merrick, James, Cucurella, Neto, Garnacho, Kavama, McQueen. Scorers, he already told you, was Gu, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Staval, and Tyreek George. Bookings with Uncle Tosin and Staval. We don't need to worry about Ajax team. I'm not gonna lie to you; it's not necessary. But let's see if my stats were on par. So give me a second. Let's see. Okay. All right, bear with me, people. Let me see if I can find this. All right. So basically, you see, when it comes down to I already told you what my predicted score was for 3-0, but you won 5-1. Um, so who was the scores first? Guess who I predicted? I said Mark Gu. I genuinely said Mark Gu. I genuinely said Mark Gu was the first player. No, I'm not even. You would think, why would you think Mark Gu? Because I saw the starting lineup and anyway, you get me. I ain't gonna tell you I do my thing. I just do my thing. All right. So I got 20 points for that. Yeah. So 5 points for getting the right outcome. Well done. They scored the first goal. 20 points. All right. So in which minute will the first Chelsea goal be scored? I said 31 minutes. But it happened to be in the 18 minutes, so sorry, better luck next time. How many shots will Chelsea have overall? I said 12. We ended up having 22. Like 22. That's insane. How many Chelsea shots will be on target? I said 9. The answer was 10, so I got 5 points. And what will be the overall possession will Chelsea have? I said 57. The result was 66%. And then how many Chelsea corners would there be? I said 8. The result was 11. So I got 1 point for that. The whole point is, I still got the prediction right that we're going to win, even though it was a bigger margin. And I still said that Mark Gu was going to score. You know what I mean? Even though he scored earlier than expected. You see what I'm trying to say? So if you got, like, for example, predictions to make those predictions. You know what I mean? It's fine. So you look at 601 total passes. That's insane. Passing accuracy 93%. Um, defense, you know what I mean? 8 tackles, 39 dual ones. Yeah, man. We did like the They did well. They did well. But you know what I gotta do, right? We're gonna head over to YouTube. Shout out to George Benson, Football Chelsea. Get me, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications. Get me, I've got more content coming. Get me, I will react to this situation here. What's going on with Diddy? Probably on the weekend, not tomorrow, because tomorrow is Crystal. Tomorrow's a different situation. Right? Let's do it that way. All right.
Yes, guys, welcome back to another video.
Hold on. All right, let's go.
Welcome
yes, guys.
to the George Benson Football Channel for 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 5, Ajax 1. A huge night for Chelsea in the Champions League. We get the job done. And listen, this didn't feel necessarily when we're watching this game like the most competitive game of football. Some could argue that this actually felt a little bit like it was a Thursday night back in the Conference League. Ajax offered us absolutely nothing. They scored a goal from a penalty. Tosin gives away the penalty. Philip Jorgensen maybe should have done better. It was the only thing that the goalie had to do.
I mean, when he got his hand to it and the power is too much to handle, it's hard. It's hard to really, give criticism like that. Criticism. It's a harsh criticism.
All evening, didn't save it. Ajax get their goal. But there's something about a 5-1. It's always a scoreline that you look at and you're like, that's emphatic. And as much as the game maybe wasn't the most entertaining thing, like at the end of it, I was too busy looking at my phone, looking at Atalanta to see what the score was there, because I had a decent little cash out bet going on. So Chelsea, tonight, we've got no Cole Palmer, no Robert Sanchez, no Reece James, no Cucurella, no Joao Pedro, no Liam Delap, countless players not even on the field, and we score 5 goals in the Champions League. If that isn't a good enough reason to smack a like on today's video, this is a huge win. There's going to be a lot of people that will be like, oh yeah, but Ajax got a red card. It wasn't really competitive. Listen.
You see what I said earlier? I said more or less something similar, because haters are going to hate. Oh, like it's even the same thing when we beat PSG. Oh yeah, but it's a Mickey Mouse club, or it's a what's they call it? A preseason trophy. No, it's not. It's not a preseason trophy. Even the way that their manager reacted, do you think it was a preseason trophy? Get out of here. And obviously, yeah, he mentioned the Conference League. Like, we're Chelsea. Like, what do you want us to do? Like, we show up when we show up, innit? You know what I mean? It's just Chelsea. Like, it's such a Chelsea thing to do. Show up when we just need to show up. Yeah? And look, like I said, it's not easy to play against 10 men. Hey, it's not even easy to play with 10 men. Like, if there's any club that knows that of recent, it's us. You know what I mean? We had to navigate through those situations. Even our manager had to learn, wait, you don't put on defensive players. Do you know what I mean? Let's put on some attacking players. You know what I mean? But obviously it depends on the opponent as well. That's another story. But let's hope we don't get no more red cards. And if the opposition gets a red card, it is what it is. But let's go.
You can only beat what's put in front of you. And we had countless moments last season where it might have been 8 goals against Noah. Might have been a little pre-Christmas Guinness festival by scoring 5.
No, wait. Let me see what Noah said about Chelsea goal. I know they said something, yeah. I know they said something. I think it's FC Noah, isn't it? Hold on. I know they must have said something. Let me see what they put. Or did they even care? I don't think they cared. Let me see. Like I'm bare checking. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm just checking. Yeah, me, our Armenian brothers. Although they got a squad that's not just Armenian, by the way. Okay, they didn't show anything. It's fine. It's not that deep. If anything, it's not that deep.
Against flipping Shamrock Rovers just before Christmas, and it was belittled because it's only the Conference League, all right? Let's remind everybody the anthem that played at the beginning of this match at Stamford Bridge. It's that famous song. It's the Champions League. And Chelsea have beaten one of the most famous European clubs 5-1 at the Bridge. And look, it might not have been, like I said, the most enthralling game of football. This isn't an Ajax team where, you know, many years ago, probably even before my time, we might be looking at Ajax with fear. We might be concerned. Are we going to get a serious game here? Is this going to be competitive? It wasn't that. But Chelsea can only beat what's put in front of us. And listen, when I look at that starting 11, I'm a little bit worried. I'm like, why have we got Caicedo at right back when you've got Reece James, you've got Gusto, you've got Josh Achampong? Why are we playing Caicedo there? It worked. Chelsea were dominant. Caicedo right back. You got Tosin Fofana in the centre-back positions. And then you got Yoel Hato playing at left back. Great stuff. We don't need to start Mark Cucurella. Give him some rest. Give Hato some minutes. That's what we brought him in for. You then got Enzo and Romeo Lavia.
Hey, it's a bit of a confusing. Let's go.
Esteval on the right. Gittens starting on the left with Buonanotte in the 10. And Chelsea started. Enzo Maresca started with Mark Guiu up front. And listen, Mark Guiu scoring in the Champions League. I'm delighted for him. He gets a start. And I'm worried, like, when he comes off at half-time, I'm thinking, this was the perfect game for him to get a second half. Chelsea 4-1 up at half-time. We could have gone on a route. We could have scored more. In the end, we didn't do so. Guiu comes off, and then within 3 minutes, Tyreek George, who I don't like playing as a centre-forward. You guys know this. I don't think he's a number 9.
Exactly. I don't think he's a number 9, but I'm just one. Do you know what? Hear me out. I'm just one of those people, yeah? I'm just one of those people that when it comes down to players, I like to give them a bit of a leeway only because it depends on obviously their age. Like there's a lot of things you can base it on, like obviously the age, the determination, the work ethic. There's a reason that the manager has said, you know what, I see this guy as a forward for now, because he probably seen something in training that, look, who knows, like anything could happen, innit? So, like, what do you want him to do? Because he could end up being like a forward that, not just any forward, because remember, for players like Staval William, for example, he can play across the front line. The only reason why he can play across the front line is because he's been experimented to play across those lines. You understand? Like, here's what it is. Let's keep it moving. And it's not just him as well. Like, Garnacho as well. He's another one that could play as a false number 9. João Pedro, another one that could play as a forward, as a number 10, and as, you know what I mean, across the front line. He could just play behind the striker. Like, it's because they've been experimented at a young age. Like, even Reece James was a striker at once. Are you deep in this for a moment? Even Reece James was a striker at once. And now he's basically the best, not even basically, he is the best right back in the world. So give Tyreek George a break.
Tyreek George comes on and he scores the 5th goal. And from that point, it was coasting. It was plain sailing. But for Mark Guiu to score his first Champions League goal for Chelsea off the back of getting that brilliant performance off the bench against Forest, where, listen, he might not have scored goals, but at least he was a menace. He was a nuisance. And that is what has played him into the starting 11 today. And I keep saying it, right? Chelsea can only beat what is put in front of us. And Ajax didn't really put up a fight this evening, but we got the job done. Box number 1 of your 6 things we learned from this 5-1 win is a green for Mark Guiu. Now, this weekend, let me know in the chat right now, can he play against Sunderland? He's already played for Sunderland this season. I think surely he can, because he was on...
I think he probably will, and that's probably why Enzo Maresca took him off. I think that's probably why. You got to think about it. I think what Enzo Maresca's done is very smart, and I could be wrong in this, by the way, but you see when players find a way to perform you see when managers see how the players performing, and it's like, okay, I started him, he's doing well. I would like him to get full 90 minutes, but realistically, we got another game coming up. João Pedro is also going to be needed, but we don't want to heavily rely on him. Tyreek George isn't really much of a forward like that, but if we're seeing the impact play that Mark Guiu is making, even if he hasn't scored in the Premier League yet, who knows? If he starts, and I'm making this prediction now again, and I'm saying it again, if he ends up starting, don't be surprised if he bags an assist or bags a goal or both. Don't be surprised. Just don't be surprised. I ain't trying to disrespect Sunderland or anything like that, and don't be surprised if he doesn't celebrate either way if he scores. All right? Don't be surprised.
Loan from us. So surely Mark Guiu can actually start this weekend against Sunderland. Let me know, because I've not actually researched that one before we started recording this video. But I think he's got to play. I think even when you take Buonanotte out of the starting 11 for Sunderland at the weekend, you put João Pedro back in there because Pedro didn't play tonight because he was suspended. If you take Buonanotte out of the starting 11 and put João Pedro in there, I think you get more out of Mark Guiu. And I also think as a result of playing Pedro in the 10, you get a lot more out of Sunderland as well. And I think a lot...
You see, when I said Mark Guiu reminds me of Liam Delap, there you go. There you go. Look what he's suggesting. He's suggesting exactly what, what's her name? That journalist, Saraz, she suggested something similar where João Pedro and Liam Delap were to play together, and the manager listened. And then unfortunately, I think it was like the second game after, do you know what I mean? But that aside, it does look like a thing going forward that could potentially happen. It's a good thing to see though, but bear in mind, I don't think it'll be like a long-term thing. I just think it'll depend on the particular opposition. Sometimes you don't need to do too much. You don't have to overly exert your attacking plays like that. Like sometimes a simple thing where it's a thing of, even if Mark Guiu doesn't start, it's fine. Do you know what I mean? Or if João Pedro doesn't start, it's fine. Like, it depends. Let's go. If you see that banging, it's not me. You know what I mean? There's someone above me who's making up noise. They know what they're doing. You know what I mean? So if they want to make up noise, I will make up noise. You know what I'm saying? I will make up more noise for them to just, you know what I mean? Get me?
It's going to depend this weekend on what Sunderland come to Chelsea. I think it'll be a Sunderland that will come, try and frustrate Chelsea, and hopefully as a result of that, Mark Guiu can be that menace to unlock other players around him.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But the thing is, will that happen? You understand? And again, like I said, if you hear that banging noise, again, that's not me. I'm trying to do my thing. Like, I try to, you know what I mean? I can only stream at the time that I can stream, and it is what it is. Yeah? It is what it is.
Thought he was good. Gets himself a goal. And listen, we're playing against a 41-year-old geezer in goal for Ajax. So it wasn't exactly like he had too much to do. Drills it into the ground, and it goes in the back of the net. Good night for Mark Guiu. Comes off at halftime, gets his goal. Champions League, like, this is different. This is different caliber. These goals mean something. He's going to remember that for the rest of his life. He was lining up with the Champions League music at Stamford Bridge against Ajax. Huge moment. Huge moment also. box number 2 for Esteval Willian. I thought he was going to score. I also said if you watch the shootout Champions League prediction, I thought that Esteval and Mark Guiu were going to score, and they did. Esteval Willian. Let's keep going about this guy, shall we? Because he has got something special. And listen, we could go on all day about what that something is, but every time he gets the ball, he looks as though he's going to do something magical. And it's not even just like when he makes a pass or when he makes a cross. So many great balls, tantalizing crosses. Far post, Gittens making the run, should have done better. But Esteval, every time he gets it, it's either a little feint here, a little feint there. Everything he does is calculated. Every single movement, whether it is actually feinting and taking a player on, whether it's beating a man, running at him, whether it's hitting that penalty. The penalty is absolutely sublime. The way he hits that into the side of the net is beautiful. I've been saying it ever since we saw him at West Ham. He's got to start every game. He's got some.
I can't believe I was trying to say something and it was on mute because of all that banging up there. Like, they need to allow it, bro. Like, do that on a flipping. Do that during the day or something. Even if I'm working from home, I don't care. Like, shit. But at night, where potentially some people are sleeping, yeah, some people are not as
special. He brings an X factor. And I was looking for something better than X factor, but you know what I mean. He brings something special to this Chelsea team. He's got to start for me every single day. Esteval is box number 2. Box number 3, Moises Caicedo. Now, it's not the cleanest goal he's ever going to score, but he scores again. Caicedo back in the team, Chelsea bossing it. And again, I think the most important thing here is when you look at the lineup graphic, you've got Caicedo right back, you've got Enzo and Romeo Lavia in that team. That is what I want to see more of. Not necessarily Caicedo in the right back position when we see the lineup. It didn't seem like that. Caicedo was not playing as a right back. Chelsea knew, Enzo Maresca knew, that we were going to dominate possession. We're going to have the ball. And I want to see Caicedo in more advanced areas. I think he's got it in him. We know he loves to have a shot, and we're seeing it more and more. And as much as, like I said, it isn't the best goal he's ever going to score, isn't the cleanest goal that he's ever going to score, the fact he's in that position and he's able to pull the trigger, being influential in the final third, that is where you start to take your game to the next level. For Caicedo, we know that when it comes to being that last man in front of the defence, he's going to be the man to break things up. He's going to keep making those tackles. He's almost flawless with doing that role, similar to what N'Golo Kante used to do.
Listen, I'm going to say it. Caicedo is a merge of Kante, Makelele, Ramirez, John Obi Mikel, and Michael Essien roll up into one. That's the best way I can explain Caicedo. Like, the best way I can explain it. Because obviously Makelele weren't known for scoring goals, was he? Let's be honest. He wasn't. He was known to literally know how to control and hold that midfield. Like, he was a master at that. Yeah, like, sublime. How we ended up getting Claude Makelele, I don't know. I don't know. To this day, I don't know. But anyway, we move. But the fact that ever since then, do you know what I mean? We've had great defensive midfielders, like great defensive midfielders. If there's any position we have found a way to consistently, do you know what I mean, have on rotation, no matter who the owner is, no matter who the manager is, we find a gem of a defensive midfielder. And do you know what's great about that? That's because at the end of the day, it's the midfield that wins those battles. If you win those battles, you're more than likely going to win a game. You know what I mean? More than likely. Like, at least 95% of the time. I say 95% of the time because, you know, football is football and sometimes decisions can go against you. And, you know, I won't even say too much because I don't wish that on us. But, you know me, there's been times, yeah, look, end of the day, Caicedo is one of the greatest. Yeah. All I need him to have is win the Premier League and the Champions League. Get me? Let's go.
But now we're seeing him progress forward. We're seeing him in advanced areas more, and he scores again. And I don't think we can underestimate that kind of influence that he's starting to have all over the field, not just with the tackles, not just with the ball recoveries, but with scoring goals.
Exactly.
Caicedo has done it again. We move into box number 4. I've given a green here to Jamie Gittens. And listen, Gittens is a
Not Jamie
polarizing.
Gittens. Jamie Littens. That's his new name. Jamie Littens. I told you. I literally said I will be there when he turns from Jamie Kittens, because I know some of you want to make a mockery out of him. Yeah. And then I said, when he turns from Jamie Kittens to Jamie Littens. What we saying? What we say? And I know it's only one game, but in the Champions League, and again, well, he got experience in the Champions League, so you would expect better at the same time. But come on, it's not his fault, Brad. You know what I mean? You heard what he said to Romeo Lavia. Or was it? No, it was Wesley Fofana. My bad. Let's go.
Character. Because if he's not scoring goals, we're going to keep saying 55 million. What have we spent that money on? Now, if you watch the shootout watch along, where Eunice and I were discussing who had a better game out of Onochie and Jamie Gittens, I personally don't really see too much of what Onochie did. And educate me in the comments, please, because maybe I'm missing something. But when it comes to influence, when it comes to
All right, Buonanotte, from what I was seeing, I'm not saying you got to think about it. He's more of a central attacking midfielder. That's his role, more or less. And you have to understand we can't expect too much from him. One, he's on loan. Two, he's still young. You know what I mean? And three, how long has he been with us? You know what I mean? You can't expect a lot from a player who's not been with us for at least 18 months minimum. Notice how I said 18 months. Yeah, because you've got to have time to settle in the country. That's one thing. Then you got to settle within the team. That's another thing. And you got to understand the tactics that the manager wants to play. That's another thing. So when you put all of that into consideration, think before you judge a player. Like understand their role. Sometimes the manager will be like, instead of you playing a number 10 or playing a central attacking midfielder, I just want you to just go out and have fun. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Like, no tactics, just go out and have fun. It's a Champions League night, Stamford Bridge, go out and have fun. Let me see what you can do. Because it reminds me of Zakaria. You know what I mean? Like some people will be like, oh, he wasn't doing too much because you wasn't paying attention to the type of player he is. When you understand the type of player he is, you appreciate that player. Like I'm telling you, we're gonna see some good from Buonanotte, aka Crash Bandicoot. You're gonna see a lot of goodness. Don't worry. To the point you're gonna think, oh, we shouldn't have went back to Brighton. No, 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 no. Relax. We're helping develop the player so he can go back to Brighton, be the great player, and they either send him back to us or he comes to Strasbourg. He might end up at Strasbourg. Watch. He might end up at Strasbourg. But let's
game
go.
where Chelsea are having total control of possession, we're creating countless chances. I think Gittens was far more influential in that conversation than what I saw from Facundo Buonanotte, in my opinion. There were some great moments where Gittens is kind of standing his man up. He beat his man. Great crosses into the box. I think he should have gambled when Esteval put that beautiful cross in towards the end of, I think it was the first half. But I think for Gittens, this is another example of what he can bring to this team. I think when you look at the balance of the way that Chelsea played today, when Esteval's on the right and Gittens is on the left, Gittens is doing exactly what we brought him in to do. Stand his man up, take him on, beat him, get shots away or try and get shots away and make those balls into the far post where either Mark Hughes is going to be there or Esteval is drifting in. What I loved about Esteval's role is that it felt a bit more free.
If you've got kids in the UK under 16, you need to hear.
Oh, we'll hear that another time. Don't worry about that.
On the right, he can drift inside and get in into the far post where either Mark Hughes going to be there or creating
let me run up again.
Countless chances. I think Gittens was far more influential in that conversation than what I saw from Facundo Buonanotte, in my opinion. There were some great moments where Gittens is kind of standing his man up. He beat his man. Great crosses into the box. I think he should have gambled when Esteval put that beautiful cross in towards the end of, I think it was the first half. But I think for Gittens, this is another example of what he can bring to this team. I think when you look at the balance of the way that Chelsea played today, when Esteval's on the right and Gittens is on the left, Gittens is doing exactly what we brought him in to do. Stand his man up, take him on, beat him, get shots away or try and get shots away and make those balls into the far post where either Mark Hughes is going to be there or Esteval is drifting in. What I loved about Esteval's role is that it felt a bit more free. It felt a bit like when we see Cole Palmer play on the right, he can drift inside and get involved in those kind of positions. But I gave the green box to Jamie Gittens because I thought he was positive. I thought he was playing with confidence and considering there's obviously a big conversation about, is he good? Did Chelsea waste the money? I thought he did well tonight. I thought it could have been Garnacho playing, but the game suited Gittens and he did well. Box number 5 is a green for Tyreek George. I'm just checking all my graphics here. Tyreek George.
Yes, you see? So all the Chelsea fans that were hating on Tyreek George, what you got to say now?
George scored that goal and he came on, and he was playing with a bit of fluidity as well. I think Chelsea knew that the game was won, and as much as I don't rate Tyreek George as a striker, he scored a goal, heavily deflected, yes, we know that, but still, he puts the ball in the net, and then from that point, he was all over the place, in a good way, getting involved, trying to get the ball across the face of the goal, into those positions. I thought Tyreek George did very well. And as much as we kind of took the foot off the gas towards the end of the game, we got the job done. And to beat flipping Ajax 5-1, first Champions League goal for Tyreek George, I'm all here for it. Box number 6 is a green for Wesley Fofana. I was literally thinking here, like, who am I going to give this to? Could be Maresca for managing the team well, bringing Caicedo off, bringing Enzo Fernandez off at half-time. I've given it to Fofana purely because he lasted 90 minutes. There was a time during this game where I thought...
Why do you think, when I was saying it earlier, that I clapped, Wesley Fofana made it through a game? Him and Romeo Lavia. Chai. Nah, for real. Because, hey, listen, you got to understand. Like I said, health is wealth, man. Let's
Looks
go.
like he's pulled something. Is he going to make it? Fofana makes it to the end. I think if Wesley Fofana can stay fit, then we need that kind of ball-playing capability at Chelsea. Right. We need someone that can work with the ball out from the back. Tosin was doing it as well. Can't give a box to Tosin. He gave away that penalty. He looked a little bit sloppy again in those 1v1s. Don't want to pinpoint anything really here for Tosin because, look, we won 5-1. Yes, we conceded a penalty. Tosin gave it away. But we're finishing with a box for Wesley Fofana. 6 things we learned. Chelsea 5, Ajax 1. Huge night for us in the Champions League. 3 more points in the group stage, +4 for the goal difference. Liverpool are back to winning ways as well. They won 5-1-2, but listen, this is our night. This is our time to revel, beating a huge European team, scoring 5 goals, and we've still got tons of injuries. Chelsea are back. See you guys in the next one.
This is hands down.
When you put it in that perspective, and we still got tons of injuries, it's an impressive win. Knowing that, it's a very, very impressive win. Anyway, let's keep it moving. All right, so Maresca subbing Tosin was him being cautious about a red card, and I applaud him for that. That's true. That's what I saw that as well. Buonanotte was in position where he was supposed to be. He was solid throughout this match. You just don't notice him, but he's good, Tom. He's good, Tom, isn't it, George? But no, for real, do you see what I said earlier? If you understand his position, you will understand. But at the same time, you have to understand that the manager either said go out and have fun or play him in a certain position where he just does a particular job. I don't think I said it to that degree like that, but now you heard me say it. But that's basically it. Like, the midfield is such a real, the central midfield area. So whether it's the defensive or the central attacking, if you don't understand their gameplay, you would think they're either playing rubbish if they don't either score or defend well. You honestly have no idea. You have no idea. Sometimes it's not even about what you do on the ball. Pause. No, Diddy. It's what you do off the ball. You understand? Like it's generally what you do off the ball. That's why, if as Mark Gu is a good player, you can see he was bound to score based on his off the ball movements. Do you understand the way he positioned himself? Like, but that's understanding a striker. If you because we're more looked into thinking about strikers like this. You know what I mean? But let's keep moving. Let's see what people are saying. I'm Brazilian, and there is a common say here that says, "Ese jagodo conhece todos os atados do campo." Okay, which translates, "This player knows." Oh my days! You want me to read all this? All right, cool. That player knows all the shortcuts on the pitch. That's what's special Esteval. He's very driven towards the goal, and every touch is like a shortcut to it. I tell you, the world isn't ready for Esteval. He's pulling in the next 2 years. I sense greatness like when Neymar was in his first years. It's his first game in Champions League, and he almost scored beautiful goals. Soon enough, they'll start to stack. He just needs to get a bit more confident and keep working. Of course, it's everybody wish to see him playing, but Don Maresca must keep him out of injuries, and does his appearance, especially in the Premier League, they will define Esteval's career. I have much faith in this kid, and I pray he don't get injured. Amen. And I believe he can be for Chelsea what Messi was for Barcelona, lead the club to an era of football dominance. That said, you may know Chelsea woke up with more than 200 million more, 200 million Brazilian fans. It was questioned if he could adapt to the Premier League and the Chelsea project, but I guess he may become the anchor of it. Chelsea is doing good for him and will benefit greatly from it. Keep up with the Chelsea for those. I like your insights, a truly authentic fan, Brazilian hearts. I appreciate that. I'm glad I actually read that. Man like Jamie Gittens atop Stamford Bridge. And it was good to see the squad put on a 5-star. Hold up. Five-star performance. You know what I mean? All right, so let's get into Blue Lions TV. All right, so Gittens and Cheval still show. You. By the way, I forgot to mention, we've had
Springbok fans are made up of so many different folk. The roughies and the toughies.
Come on, you guys. Come on. Shout out to the EFC. Now, we literally made history. Let me show you. I'm going to try and go to my Twitter because I reposted it. So, another Chelsea record. Reggie Rose has become the youngest ever Champions League player at 17 years old in 2 days, because obviously his birthday 2 days ago, or technically 3 days now. Steva becomes our youngest Champions League goal scorer 33 minutes after Mark broke it. Hey, Mark Gu became our youngest goal scorer in the Premier League. I'm sorry, in the Champions League. Then Steva said, you know what? You can have that for a few moments. And then Steva became it. That's funny. Yeah, I don't think I actually put... Okay. For the first time ever, 3 teenagers have scored for the same side in a Champions League match. Gu, Steva, George, some night for Chelsea. Yeah. Mark Gu, 19. Steva, 18. And Tyree George, 19.
Come on, boys. Let's go, man. What is that? Is that 4 back-to-back wins now? Is that us making Champions League history tonight? As we saw 3 teams score in one game for the first time in the competition's history. Right now, it feels like things are starting to make sense at Chelsea. We know that we have some big boys coming back on the horizons right now. We were able to rest some of our star guys for our big Premier League game against Sunderland this weekend. But most importantly, the youth players were given the opportunity to show themselves today and show up. They most definitely did, as this was a dominant, pretty easy performance against Ajax. And I think, these types of games just build confidence. They're the type of games to make you hungry for the next game. It's a nice game to have at this point in time. And today we can thank the goal scored from Mark Yu, Esteval Willian, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, can't forget him, and Tyreek George scoring too. It's nice to see that, both Gu and George are gonna try their hardest to become the first team striker right now. And they're trying to give Enzo Maresca some headaches too. But listen, there's a lot of positives to talk about in the game today, but I can't really discuss things without talking about why this game was so easy for us. And that was Ajax kind of self-capitulating. Crazy red card for Kenneth Taylor to pick up. Nasty challenge on Onochie. Rightfully sent off. It was above his ankles. Very rash. And it kind of sums up...
I told you it was the right decision. It is what it is.
Lack of confidence at the Ajax team are feeling right now. This now means 4 games on the bounce now without seeing a win.
I don't think it's a lack of confidence. You saw how they were playing. They're trying to play like bullies, bruv. You saw how they were playing. They were trying to play like bullies. But now they got bullied. 5-1. Take that. You hear me?
Once that moment happened, of course, I think they kind of lost their heads. I think that was typified by Verkhorst. He had a very comical first half, this guy, trying to get involved in things. In the end, he paid the price for trying to force the motion a bit too much. This is what happens when you don't take a touch. When you're forcing the motion, he brings out Enzo Fernandez at the wrong time to give us the ability to take this game away from Ajax. And he was the one who made it 2-1 and gave Ajax some hope of, fooling themselves into thinking that maybe they could bag a draw. Definitely not. But Ajax made things easy, and for large parts of this game, it felt like a training ground session. Let's keep it real. I know some of you guys are purists, and I respect your takes. Some of you may even feel, for the dominance we had for such a long time, and after making it 5-1 really early on in the second half, I think a lot of you guys might be wondering, why didn't we get 6, maybe 7? Why did it feel like we weren't constantly able to find opportunities past this 10-man Ajax team that are just sitting back and defending? Listen, you're allowed to have your thoughts in this game, yeah? But you know what? We've got to take these games and results how they come. And it's still impressive for us to be able to secure such a dominant win over a team like Ajax, irrespective of anything that's going on right now. So yeah, I'm glad with what we saw. And it feels like maybe with this game, maybe some of the young guys now are starting to get to grips with the system a little bit. Now...
And that's the whole point. I feel like naturally, again, this goes back to the whole Tyreek George conversation. It almost feels like naturally, you see, when it comes down to these players, right? I think what people need to understand is they're not particularly the finished article. Do you get it? There's always more to come from these players. And that's what makes Chelsea Football Club, if I ask you, I know obviously we're Chelsea fans here, this is what makes us look scary good. Because, you know what I mean? And that's probably why the haters hate us so much. Because they know we're that good. Or the potential that we can be so great that we can, you know what I mean, dominate for years to come. How many teams can say that? And look, you could say, yeah, well, they invested billions, so they're supposed to. Not necessarily. Because it's not easy to get the right manager. It's not easy to have the right tactical play for each. Do you know what I mean? You have to manage their egos. You have to manage so many elements. We live in the era of social media as well, so you got to manage that. Come on, man. It's not easy. They'll never get that twisted. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just in the DNA of a club to be a certain way. Do you know what I mean?
I thought Esteval, he stood out big time tonight. I thought Jamie Gittens, this was by far his most promising game this entire season. I thought Mark Yu, he looked good. Tyree George, he looked pretty good. And it was kind of interesting because, like, in that second half, now that I think of it, we didn't even play with a striker, did we? Because Tyreek was on the right side. And it felt like it was just a striker to set up with both Onochie and Esteval, looking to try and break into the box. That's what it looked like from my perspective. But yeah, man, the young guy stood out. Nice to see some Cobham team involvement in Redley Walsh, who Maresca clearly likes his kids. He understands what he has to do. Very tactically aware at a very young age. Again, this guy is now getting games in the Conference League, now getting games in the Champions League. It's mad. And I'm really fascinated to see what the future.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see what the future holds. I also want to see Ibrahim Rabaj. Does that pronounce his name? I need to see him play. You don't understand. I need to see him at least come. Like it might happen against Wolves. Is it Wolves we got coming up in the what cup is it now? In the EFL Cup or whatever the case may be. It might be that. I don't know. It just depends on what Maresca's thinking. I don't know. But yeah.
Holds for someone like him. You'd imagine maybe he gets a loan.
Get your flights, car hire and villa all
If he gets
included
a loan,
when
it's
you book with
Coventry.
Jet2 Villas.
Hear me out. Frank Lampard.
There's really only one smart choice for chefs, and that's titanium. Hi, I'm Jeremy Solomon, and I'm the James Beard nominee.
End of the season, so he can kind of make his mark now. And I wouldn't be surprised if this guy was able to get maybe a European loan straight away. I would love to see some of these guys go to Strasbourg to get their moments. If we can do it for Kendry Pies, and then look, let's do it for like our top grads as well, right? But I'm kind of just like getting all over the place right now. Yeah, the performance I want to talk about, Esteval Willian. Esteval played the game today like he thought he was the best player on the pitch, and he kind of was.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate not to make it to. There was a superb in-swinging cross from Jamie Gittens that nearly found him. Like Esteval was inches away from making contact with that cross. It was great play. And I just like the confidence he has to constantly want to try. You know, at times when you compare other performers, it feels like maybe the other players don't have the confidence to kind of like have that single-minded nature to try and just...
I don't know. I don't think it's a confidence thing. I think it's just the fact that he's just one of those players that just wants to try new things. I'm not saying that other players don't want to try new things, but remember, he just wants to try new things. I just feel like that's him all over. He will try new things. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. If he knows eventually it can work, especially if he tried it in training, best believe he's gonna keep on trying and trying. Like when he tried to score from was that something acrobatic recently? I'm not even recently. It was in that game we tried to score something acrobatic. Don't be surprised if he ends up scoring that acrobatic goal. Don't be surprised whether it's from distance or short distance. Don't be surprised. Be in awe.
Win the game by themselves. But this is the type of player we have and potential we have in Esteval. Where at 18 years old, he's barely even spent months in this country. He's come to a new league, new squad, new setup, and instantly he's ready to take responsibility. He's ready to showcase what he's about. And I think that was typified by the lovely, lovely gesture from Enzo Fernandez to allow Esteval to score his first goal in his Champions League career. I really like that. It does seem like Enzo has a lot of like stature and authority with the squads. I know like when some of the players do their little like social media interviews, Fernandez is seen as the guy that has the aura, right?
I don't think it's just the aura. Remember, he's the captain. That's the thing. He's the captain. Like Enzo Fernandez is like, is he the vice captain? Yeah, he's the vice captain. Well, it's hard to say because I'm like, you got Reece James, he's the captain. Then you got Enzo Fernandez, also the captain, and you got Caicedo, that's technically the first. It's like Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo are the drain second captain. So It could be that. It could be that. I don't know. I don't know what to call it. It's one of those things where naturally with football, it's leadership is not about the armband. It's about what you do on and off the pitch. And if that's what Enzo Fernandez is doing, it is what it is. Plus, you got to remember, Enzo Fernandez is South American, and so is Saval. He's also South American. So they have that connection. So naturally, that's going to work on the field. Do you understand? When I say that's going to work, I mean, even off the field, if you're talking about that representation in terms of, like, I don't know what to call it, because obviously some Brazilians speak Portuguese, so I don't know if he speaks with, if Enzo Fernandez speaks a bit of Portuguese, I don't know. But even if that was the case, do you know what I mean? It's hard to call it. It's hard to call it. I don't know.
It's nice to see that he can kind of just like control things on the field. And it's nice that someone like him can make someone like Esteval feel that welcomed to entrust that confidence onto him. And I think the penalty that Esteval scored, superb penalty. The way he just kind of drove the ball behind his foot, opening his body up. Lovely technique. And he's just kind of displayed that constantly, especially like when he comes inside and tries to play those in-swinging balls to the far post. Beautiful technique, beautiful weight behind that type of cross. It's great to see, right? But yeah, he was constantly looking to make things happen. A lot of times he was isolated 1v1. Obviously, it helps that Ajax went down to 10 men, because it meant that our wingers were always able to find themselves in 1v1 situations. A part of me, though, would love to see what would happen if a winger also had an option closer to them, because that creates another possibility to do like a little give and go.
Yeah,
rotate very quickly inside.
That's why I'm looking forward to when Cole Palmer comes back, because that give and go between Cole Palmer and Staval is going to be phenomenal. Even João Pedro, like, I would like to see João Pedro on the same pitch with Staval in a Chelsea shirt. I want to see that link up. I want to see that link up. I want to see. Not just because they're Brazilian, obviously, but it's the fact that I know that João Pedro can play as a number 10 as well. Do you know what I mean? And they could interchange. Do you know what I mean? One could play in the wing, one essentially. You know what I mean? They could interchange. Like, even if it meant João Pedro's playing as a forward, Esteval can play as the pause, the guy behind him pause. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's many ways where that give and go can work with João Pedro and Esteval Willian. There's many ways. There's many ways. But it's down to Enzo Maresca at the end of the day.
Now, instead of maybe what they're relying on doing, right, which is either going down the byline, coming inside, or just playing it backwards. Obviously, in a game like this, where you don't want to force anything, you've got big games to prepare for. A lot of you guys aren't even fully fit like that right now. It's kind of nice that you can play this game at a training ground tempo. Fair enough. But it was good to see that Esteval, no matter what type of games the state of the game is in, he will make sure that he puts on a show for the fans.
Right.
And it's great to see that type of confidence that he already has, and that little relationship forming between himself and Chelsea fans. It must just empower this guy to want to constantly like try and keep going. So yeah, not everything came off for him, of course, we can't forget that, but for someone this young, it's all about maybe the personality you're showing. And this is going to be a great educational foundational year for Esteval. So yeah, man, impressive performance from him. Again, another guy I need to show love to is also Jamie Gittens, as I was saying before.
Jamie Gittens,
by far his most accomplished, confident performance. Like from the first moments of this game, I think he completed his first dribble, and from that moment, he just something psychologically just unlocked or spoke to him, and he just knew, you know what, this is my game. I got my guy. Yeah, this Rosa guy can't get near me. I'm going to have fun today. And I think he most definitely did. Great that he picked up an assist in this game, of course, for Tyree George. If I was to be maybe a bit of a purist, I would maybe...
Do you see what I mean? Another assist for Tyree George. Are you sure it was Tyree George? Was it Caicedo? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was. Anyway, let me see.
Say every now and then he still needs to maybe show more improvements at knowing how to time his runs insides. You know those little diagonal runs in between the fullback and the centre back? He'll get there because he's still very young. But there's only a few times in the game I saw that certain guys try to play passes to him. They weren't quite on the same wavelength. But listen, whenever Gittens was facing his man on that touchline, he was showing some lovely touches on the ball, man. Like how he just like comes inside. It looks like he's gliding, real talk. He glides inside.
Yeah,
The close control, the step overs. There was that.
No, it definitely was for Caicedo. You know what I mean? So basically, when Mark Gu scored, assist was Wetti Fofana. Fofana headed the ball across the box for Mark Gu to score. All right. When Caicedo scored with deflecting with a deflected shot from a pass by Jamie Gittens. You know what I mean? I'm calling him Gittens. When Tyreek George scored, it was Santos that provided the assist for Tyreek George's goal. Like, because I'm telling you, if it was an assist by Littens for Tyreek George, I would have just had a different headline for this or something. I don't know, because didn't he get an assist for Tyreek George in the under 21s for England? That's probably what he's thinking of. That's probably what Nini FC is thinking of. That's what I think. Now it happens. Sometimes you're thinking of a situation, but nah, it definitely was for Caicedo. I was almost certain it was Caicedo.
Beautiful skill he did, using, but his back to control the ball and spin away. That was just, when he's producing stuff like that in the first half, that tells you everything you need to know about the confidence he's feeling. And it's interesting that Maresca didn't feel the need to take him off and bring on Garnacho, which I think we all assumed that might be the play. So has Gittens basically confirmed the spot now for the Prem game now this weekend?
Nope. No team, no squad is guaranteed to play against Sunderland. No one. And I like it that way. Yeah. The manager has always said, if you do good in training, there's a chance you go play. If you do well in training. And I like that he has that mindset, because it means no one's guaranteed a spot in the starting 11. Nobody. Just because we may see a player play well in the previous game doesn't mean that they're going to start the next game. Do you get it? That is what it is. Like, look how many times Reece James has done phenomenally well, but sometimes he doesn't start. Think about it. And he's the captain.
Is that going to be starting or off the bench at least? Let's watch this space. But it's nice to see some confidence behind this guy's game, because he is an electric winger. He does have some big promise to himself. And let's hope he can kind of push him now and make things happen a bit more. But man, honestly, in terms of this game, 5-1.
I used Hint to get a drawing of my soulmate, and I still can't believe how accurate it was. So a while ago, I came across this.
A lot of the goals came from penalties. But again, I think we kind of forced our luck a bit by kind of using the slickness of the pitch to our favor. Hence why you saw a lot of like power, low-driven shots to try and, I don't know, try and buy something from those moments, right? Little controversies in the game. I don't think there were much controversies. Obviously, Kenneth Taylor straight red. I don't think Tosin deserved to get a sending off against Verkhorst. I think that was literally, it was a yellow. I think that was just momentum bringing him down. He's a long, Langley type of guy. If you're close to him, you're going to maybe feel a bit of contact, right? But that was definitely not done on purpose. Makes sense that he got subbed off, though, because Maresca won't be taking any more risks now. And not when you have such a big advantage. It was the right decision to make. And, outside of that, they're the only things I can think of. Fofana was kind of showcasing some pain in the final 10 minutes. Hopefully it's just cramp. It's good to see him ending the game. I wanted him to end the game, try and get past that psychological barrier. That's what I was thinking about. Maybe when you've been out for so long, you can feel like you're a bit too in tune and a bit too sensitive to how your body feels. It's only my take. I'm probably wrong in this situation.
You're probably right.
But
Probably right.
I don't know. I kind of see it from that perspective.
And this is,
So
this
maybe
is why I was
it's
clapping before.
gonna do him some good knowing that he could
Fofana,
finish this
Romeo Lavia
game.
making it.
And he wasn't really tested too much either. So yeah, that was really interesting to see. And I guess the final interesting point in this game was seeing Moses Caicedo starting the game as an inverted right back. Now, listen, it worked out for us. It was going to work out for us against this Ajax team. Let's keep it real. We know that Malo Gusto was confirmed, didn't train yesterday, and obviously you're going to rest Reece James for the weekend game. Now, Action Pong, I get the impression, will also start the weekend game. That's why he started off the bench. I basically got most of this team right outside of maybe a few positions, and stupidly messing up with Joao Pedro as well. But yeah, I wanted to maybe just like let you guys have that understanding in case you were thinking Maresca was doing some Takatico nonsense and forcing things for no reason. But I've always thought personally that Moises, listen, he's like one of the few guys that could probably play the inverted role to a world-class level. Let's keep it real. We've won every single game of Moises playing the inverted role. So let's have that as food for thought. And could we see a bit more of that if we are going to see certain games where Lavia and Enzo are playing in midfield together? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section. But you guys, that's pretty much that today. Chelsea Kids shines, Action Pong, Mark Yu, Gittens, Esteval, Youth like Onochie, Lavia, Santos, Hato. So one of the youngest teams I think we've ever seen, probably since the 1920 season. And right now, these guys have made it 2 wins in the Champions League back to back. So hopefully now we can continue this form, because our next 7 games, you guys, the next 7 games we have right now, you go on a mad run, then you create these big possibilities and advantages that you're going to benefit from. So my friends, that's everything from the game today. Let us know your thoughts and opinions below, and I'll catch you guys later with more videos. Love. Cool.
All right. All right, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Let's read the comments real super quick. So I would react to Chelsea Fan TV, but I don't necessarily have the time for it, sadly. Give props to Hado and Gittens. Left flank was solid. Litton, sorry, my bad. I cannot call him Gittens. Reece James record a Chelsea youngest. Reece James record as a Chelsea youngest Champions League scorer has been broken 3 times today by 3 Chelsea teenagers. Mark Gui's record lasted 33 minutes. Derek Joe became the second youngest immediately in the second half. Stavar became Chelsea's youngest ever goal scorer in the Champions League. Chelsea show legacy. It's a Chelsea thing. And our captain, King Reece James, would be proud. You know what I mean? He definitely would be proud. Litters was massive today. People were doubting him. See, he just needed the confidence. He brings us balance. Stavar can easily be our neighbor. What a talent. Our wing play was perfect today. Free flying football. By the way, BW, really appreciate your videos, Dinny. Keep growing. All right. So I'm gonna say Jamie Gittens. Hold on. Nickname is now Jamie Gittens. But yeah, good to see the senior squad. It's good to see the senior squad and the youth squad win emphatically against Ajax. You know what I mean? But yeah, shout out to everyone watching. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Yeah, man, that's it for today. Unfortunately, I can't get on to watching from Chelsea Fan TV. That's going to have to be from another day, unfortunately. I like reacting to their channel, especially with this woman here. Do you know what I mean? But I just ain't got the time for it. I generally don't, because I stream late today, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I stream late. What can I say? What can I do? Yeah, but anyway, 3 points. Get me? We crawl up the table, but again, like I said, I don't want to look at the table. It's about what's the next game. We win that game. All right, boom. Win the next. Let's play this game. Let's see what we do in this game. Obviously, the aim is to win each game possible. You know what I mean? I know it sounds mad, but that's the mentality I'm having in my life in general, to take each thing at a time. You know what I mean? What's the next move? Boom. It's the same with this whole YouTube thing. What's the next thing? You know what I mean? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? That's how I'm moving. Yeah? But anyway, shout out to all the subscribers, the returning subscribers. Get me a big all up. Continue to watch. Continue to share. Continue to like. Continue to leave comments.